All right, chat. Apparently, pigeons are destroying the world. No, I'm kidding. We are going to watch a video on pigeons, so I have no idea where this is going. I have no idea where this is going. I have no idea. It just says this pigeon situation is crazy and then just says hated.
The rats of the sky. Some people call them rats of the sky. Not me, though.
Pigeons are great.
Little chunky little birds that are eating little crumbs on the platforms in the subway and around New York City. Yes, pigeons. Some of you refer to pigeons as pests. But here's what should make you feel better.
Oh, is she like gonna tell you the truth? Oh my god.
They are not even supposed to be here.
Yeah, like, she's gonna give you like a rundown.
Here, but like not like this. And I'm pissed
not like this.
And I'm making this video to tell you everything. Like and subscribe. Did you know?
I like the dramatics of this. I like her editing style.
We as humans captured pigeons and we forced them to live with us. We made them our best friends for thousands of years. We used them to literally win wars.
Yes.
And then we threw them out on the street. We took a wild, high-performance survivalist and we threw it out on the street so it had to look for freaking pizza scraps in New York City. But before we get to the part that makes
like that's it literally like as soon as the like postal service was like, oh, we have a better way to do this. Those poor freaking birds, dude. That's why New York City specifically is so overrun.
Me actually mad. I'm going to tell you more about
because they were one of the hubs.
They came from, because it's an important part of this whole story. Let's take a look at pigeons, shall we? Okay, because honestly, they're sick. So technically, scientifically, there's no real difference between a pigeon.
Video about pigeons uses images of cats.
And a dove, okay? They're both part of the family.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Usually, we call the small white ones like this.
Oh wait, that made sense though, because like mourning doves sound okay.
That people have in weddings and symbolizes peace.
Oh god, that's a whole other situation with the freaking like doves in the wedding situation. Oh god.
And then we call the colorful, chunky ones pigeons. But those terms don't really carry much merit because they're part of the same family. So when we talk about standard pigeons, like the ones that stare at you from park benches and the ones that are perfectly circular, we are talking about Columba livia, the rock pigeon. Today, most of the pigeons that you see are this genetic soup of rock pigeons. So
yeah, because like humans just really love messing with genetics.
Escape pets and racing birds and feral crossbreeds. Now, I think you probably know what pigeons look like, but I'm going to explain it to you in great detail anyway. So rock pigeons, 12 to 14 inches long, wingspan of up to 28 inches.
Dang, that's bigger than I thought it would be.
A bit shorter than mine. Thank you very much. The ones in the wild typically weigh about 350 grams, but domestic breeding can make them way bigger than that.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just the rock pigeon, right? But there are lots of different types of pigeons. Do you guys know what this is?
A pigeon.
This is a Victoria crown pigeon. Also,
oh, she's fancy.
So a pigeon. And to scale, it might look the same size as the rock dove, but no. This is about how big a Victoria crown pigeon actually is. That's not exactly to scale, okay? But it is.
What? Don't lie to me, girl. Thought we were talking facts in this video.
It's the biggest pigeon on planet Earth right now. They are about 29 inches long and they weigh up to 5.5 pounds, which for a bird, heavy. Guys, that's really heavy. There's some that have really bright, vibrant coloration.
Just imagine a bag of sugar flying through the air.
Like the pink-necked green pigeon or the Nicobar pigeon, both super beautiful.
Pretty.
And then there are some pigeons that don't even really look like pigeons at all.
Size
like
large.
The tooth-billed pigeon.
Oh, cool.
Kind of like him. But the ones that you guys are all probably familiar with are this one. Classic blue grayish color with a bit of pizzazz around the neck area. Glossy greenish, reddish, purple. All of the beautiful
dude, the metallics on birds are crazy.
Resemble an oil slick in the most beautiful way possible. But if an oil slick was wearing a tailored gray suit.
Yes.
As far as lifespan goes for pigeons, they've been documented in captivity to live up to 35 years. In the wild, they're living more like 15 years-ish. Yeah. If they're lucky. So
it's a very similar situation to any outdoor animal. Like that's why a cat's average lifespan is so short, is because it has to factor in the fact that a lot of cats are outdoor cats, even though they're not supposed to be. Fun fact, now that we're talking about birds, cats are an invasive species and they have wiped out many bird species. It's like they've actually completely wiped out species of birds and rodents, if I'm not mistaken. Like just entire, like, subspecies or whatever they are. I don't remember the scientific word. Yeah, cats are pretty detrimental.
How do they like
Like, if you're not going to keep your cat indoors because, like, oh, they need to be enriched or whatever, like, at least keep them indoors because, like, they're literally invasive.
Their habitat, naturally. Their wild relatives, the rock doves, live in coastal and mountainous areas of Afro-Eurasia, so they like to nest in caves, but these areas don't exactly have an abundance of food, so they have to do these crazy daily commutes from high-altitude nests to feeding grounds. So it's been hypothesized that when humans started building tall buildings, pigeons were like, oh wait,
that's fair.
Man-made cliff, shorter commute to food. And then they moved in to human spaces to shorten their commute and have an abundance of food, which is actually pretty freaking smart.
Yeah,
so now
it's
we
pretty
know
smart.
a little bit about pigeons and different types of pigeons, but let's talk a little bit about their superpower. You guys have probably heard of carrier pigeons, which I think in people's head you think, okay, tie a note to bird's foot and then tell it where to go or something.
Question
and
mark.
Just deliver a message somewhere. I think that's what people think, but also maybe
that's what most people think. Yeah.
But when you really think about that, like,
I think it's like trained routes, if I'm not mistaken.
That's not really how it works. The way that carrier pigeons work is pigeons.
Like, that's why New York City is so overrun with them, because it's like, I'm pretty sure, I want to guess, but I want to like give my answer before she does. I'm pretty sure it's because they had to like have trained flight paths, and it didn't matter like what they were carrying as long as they followed that path.
Pigeons kind of function like they're just always an arrow.
Like, it wasn't Harry Potter.
Going home. Carrier pigeons can have a home base, and then you can take them a certain distance away from that home base and they can navigate their way back home. But they can't go to like a new location. They just know how to go home. So you take them away from their home base and they fly back home. Does that make sense? It's a one-way kind of deal. So the standard
okay.
procedure was you bring a few pigeons away from your home base, and then when you need to alert home base,
so they were really only used as like a pure necessity.
You release them and they go home.
Fly home, buddy.
So you might be wondering then, how do they know where home is then? We're still kind of trying to figure this out. It actually is really crazy how they're able to do this. We think they may rely on the position of the sun or the direction and intensity of geomagnetic fields.
Yeah, honestly, if you really think about it, that's why so many VTubers get doxxed when they show, like, at least somebody showed a picture of their office, and I was like, with the window just like right there, and I was like, girl, you're crazy. But like that's part of how people can get doxxed so easily by just an image. It's there's a guy that makes like his whole shtick on like making content is like saying where somebody is based on an image with consent.
Or even olfactory cues, like sense of smell, at least when they're far away. But then once they get closer, they start using landmarks, visual, to figure out where home is. For a long time, people thought that they had like a compass of sorts in their beak, but we now know that that's not true.
New pigeon tech.
Recent research, oh my God.
You got this, girl. I believe in you.
Shows that they have magnetoreceptive cells inside their inner ear. So it can
that's
signal neurons in
crazy.
the brainstem and kind of tell them where to go. So these are the neurons that respond to direction and polarity and the intensity of a magnetic field. We can't do that, y'all. We don't got all that. It's so
Nah, man, you just gotta like manifest it and unlock your inner ability to access that feature. It's there. It just needs to be like enabled, you know, bro? It's kind of like the Switch having Bluetooth. No.
cool that they do. Selective breeding over the years has maybe tuned this ability, but it already naturally exists in just regular street pigeons and lots of other birds. Birds are freaking cool. There's so much here, guys. It's so cool. Hey guys, have you
Gotta unlock the skill tree.
ever eaten a really good meal at a restaurant and thought, man, I wish I could make this at home? Well, I usually stop there because
I was like, wait, what are we talking about?
that is and what do humans do? So here I am geeking out
DLC.
about how cool this is, right? And then what do humans do, guys? Hey, what do we do best?
Oh god, what did we dumb humans do? Not even gonna bother. Writing out fake answers. Come in, find something cool, and explain it. Of course it's D, guys. Oh, it's D! Lucky I'm answer.
We come in, we find something cool, and we explore.
Yeah, I got
right?
it!
That's what we freaking do best. So that's what we did with pigeons.
Nailed it.
Us humans, we have used homing pigeons for millennia, as far back as ancient Egypt, Roman armies, and medieval crusades.
The Roman Empire.
Archaeological evidence shows that we were using them as a food source up to 40,000 years ago. Guys, cattle were domesticated somewhere around 10,000 years ago. Like, this goes way back. There are even claims of a 5,000-year-old Mesopotamian tablet that have feeding instructions for pigeons. Though the source of these claims all leads to a German book called Unter
So like, wouldn't that be a little sus if it's only from one book though? You're crushing it, girly. You got this. Shaft.
Orient. And quite frankly, I am not going to purchase that book and translate it or try to do anything like that again. So I'm just gonna choose to believe those claims because it does make sense. Like timeline-wise, it would make sense that they have that. Anyway, so we know that.
Yeah, but like if only one book has that information, I would be sussed out by like the information itself.
Egyptians used them for food and ceremonies somewhere around 4,000 years ago. They would also sometimes sacrifice tens of thousands of pigeons at a time for a single ceremony.
How?
And that suggests,
like, does everyone just have a handful of pigeons that they're just ready to like off? Like, what the hell? That's a lot.
Captive breeding solely because the amount of time it would take to wild capture that many pigeons, kind of hard to fathom. So they're probably breeding them. So the centers of diversity for the pigeons that we know today was in the Middle East and South Asia. These were spread across the globe by travelers. European colonizers brought them to North America about 400 years ago. And then by 1773, the...
Did they at least eat them afterwards? A lot of sacrifices don't get consumed. Some of them do. Some of them don't. I don't know.
Hawk pigeon was flying all the way from Nova Scotia to Florida. They're everywhere. So this is the start of that genetic soup that I was mentioning earlier. And then enter late 19th century, the U.S. Army. So the U.S. Army started experimenting with pigeons for communication on the American frontier. So when the First World War broke out in 1914, the Allied and Axis powers...
Can you imagine being the soldiers like, hey, Jim, don't forget to grab the pigeons before you leave. And then you forget to grab the pigeons before you leave. And like, you just like made us lose the war. How dare you?
Made extensive use of carrier pigeons as a means of communication.
You had one job, Jim!
In fact, the United States was not only drafting men who were eligible for fighting, but also homing pigeons and men with pigeon breeding and care experience. It was that serious. Let me freaking go.
Okay, so casually people had pigeon breeding and feeding experience. I wonder where that came into play, though, for the U.S. specifically, before they got used for this purpose.
Off script, okay? I have to tell you guys about some of these specific pigeons. This is important to me. All right, so number one, the Admiral, okay? Delivered 150 messages in France, transferred to the U.S. after the armistice, defeated all competitors in 400-mile races. 400
Let's go!
miles! The Admiral. Next up, we have Pigeon, unnamed. For some freaking reason. Operating at the U.S. Naval Air Station.
He had a name. No one wanted to admit it.
In Brest, France, this bird delivered 97 messages during the last month of the war from seaplanes at sea and in 1 year covered a total distance of 1,638 miles.
Dang.
Delivering messages that saved many lives and naval aircraft. Unnamed, by the way. President Wilson worked from tanks.
Oh my God. Look at him.
Where he lost his leg.
Yeah, dude, why weren't like pigeons the U.S. bird?
But still delivered the messages. Those are just a few examples of some of our pigeon war heroes. Okay?
Hell
but
yeah.
After World War II, communications technology, mainly wireless, continued to advance exponentially. What does that mean? We don't really need carrier pigeons anymore. A 1948 field manuscript actually stated the widespread use of radio in conjunction with the airplane to contact and supply isolated parties has rendered the use of pigeon communication nearly obsolete. So that
and people were worried about AI. It's the pigeons we should have been worried about.
Was the end of pigeons as war heroes. We didn't need them anymore. So then what?
I still need them.
Over thousands of years, we domesticated pigeons. We took them all over the world. They were our war heroes. They saved our lives. And then we didn't release them back into their natural habitats. No. We didn't honor them in some...
I love her content creation style of just like carrying a mic around and pacing in her living room. This is the best thing ever.
We didn't No, we just stopped caring. We just stopped giving a about them. So today, the pigeons that we know are just free living descendants that escaped the domestic pigeons that we were using for all of those years. So we took them out of the caves, we freaking used them to save our lives, and then we abandoned them fully. We freaking switched up on our day ones. Hard. So, how are pigeons doing today? You may ask.
Not great. My great-grandmother raised pigeons according to my dad. Oh, okay.
Besides the terrible
It's very
PR
informal.
that
But also, it makes me take her seriously. Like, it makes me take her more seriously because she's showing her passion and energy.
Constantly receive from people. Actually, they're pretty adaptable and
Like, I feel like I would make content like this if I could.
they're doing pretty all right. They're listed as least concern right now by the IUCN. They're super opportunistic. And so
Okay.
they're really good at finding food.
But, like, the issue is, though, is that, like, people are trying to push them out so hard and, like, they don't have anywhere else to go, or at least they haven't figured out that they can.
And they're doing pretty well in
They're
urban
everywhere.
environments. Some people do still keep and breed pigeons for, like, niche things like races. And, I mean, some people still do carrier pigeon stuff as a hobby.
And some people actually just breed pigeons and sell them as pets. Like, it is becoming a bigger pet industry than it used to be.
There's also a meat
Because of information and videos like this, the pet industry for pigeons has grown.
industry for pigeons. Cool. No, yeah, cool. As of 2025, that industry was valued at 500 million. It's projected to hit $1 billion by 2031. Now we're just eating them. Now let's just eat them. Let's just freaking eat them. How
Damn.
about we do all that and then abandon them? Let's just start eating them. Okay, cool. Love it. Love that. So cool. So freaking cool. Awesome. There are still studies being done to further understand.
As pets, yes, because they're basically domesticated still. They never undomesticated. Doesn't like Tyson race pigeons? Mike Tyson. I don't know.
And the brains of pigeons. These are actually kind of cool. Sorry.
But also, like, there are still some cultures that eat pigeons, and at the end of the day, they are still a bird.
Let me tell you about the study.
It's like we still eat pigs, and they're smarter than dogs. So
One study actually had pigeons do pathology tests
Okay.
to identify cancerous tissue off of eyesight alone. A single bird would score as high as 85%
Whoa.
accuracy. And when they pooled 4 birds together, they had an insane 99% accuracy
oh, that's crazy.
in diagnosis. Let's take them out of the wild. Let's make them go to war. Let's abandon them. Let's start eating them. And then let's
No, people were eating them way before that.
have them tell us if we have cancer. Of course they're better at it than we are. Of course they are. Of course they are. And the wars, sorry, let's just go back to the wars for a second. Okay, in World War I, pigeons achieved a 95% success rate in delivering messages.
Which is probably higher than USPS.
95% in unknown terrain while being targeted by rivaling forces and explosions like going
Boom.
off around them and stuff. It's war. This is war, guys. 95% successful. Whew, in total, pigeons have received 32 Dickin medals.
I can't.
That is kind of like the animal version
Dickin' what?
of a Victoria Cross.
Dickin' it
That
down.
is more than dogs and cats and horses combined. But it's
Yeah.
still only 32. Freaking less years than I've been alive. My God. So anyway, despite most of us thinking that they're gross and dumb, they're pretty incredible. They're adaptable and they're smart and they're cute. They're so cute. And they've survived everything that we have thrown at them. I think that's beautiful. If I'm going
That's
to end
beautiful.
this video anywhere, you guys know, look, at the
The ones that got eaten didn't survive, though.
end of the day, I'm a conservationist, right? So
Oh, God.
while our everyday pigeons, the ones that you guys know and love, are doing pretty well, there are international counterparts that are not doing so well. So the blue-eyed ground dove, for over 70 years, they were thought to be
cute.
extinct before being rediscovered in Brazil in
Wow, wow.
2015. So that's very exciting. There was a glimpse of hope there,
We got a comeback.
but now
We love a comeback queen.
there's a network of partners all around the globe that are helping to keep these birds from truly going extinct. So in 2023, Save Brazil and Parque das Aves, I'm sorry, I'm learning Spanish right now, backed by the Toledo Zoo and Chester Zoo, successfully reared the first 2 blue-eyed ground
Aww.
doves hatched under human care. There's still a ton of work to be done, and the most recent
Yeah, it takes a really... Actually, there's a lot of misinformation about how animal conservation works. And, like, the reality of it is that you can't exactly breed an extinct species of animal, or like a almost dying species of animal in captivity, and just reintroduce it into the wild when there's enough of them. It doesn't really work like that. So it almost makes you wonder, like, what the quote-unquote motivation and point is. Is it because we had something that was rare and dying out, and we want to preserve and, like, what's the right word? Like, we want to, like, be able to, like you go to a museum and you see, like, art kind of thing. Like, is it that we're using it as part of a collection to be like, hey, we can still keep this animal around, and then, like, all these different zoos are going to have access to it, but it's never going to be in the wild again? Or if it does end up in the wild again, then, like, it's only going to, like, it'll end up very similarly to the current pigeons. So it's like, doesn't always work out as intended. And there is a lot of misinformation when it comes to, like, conservation efforts and how exactly it all works and what the reality of it is. And I also learned that semi-recently, which kind of sucked.
Count showed that there are only 11 individuals left in the wild still, but this is a pigeon that we can help now. We'll put links in the description of the facilities that are working on this really, really important work to help this specific species of pigeon right now. I think it's very, very cool and important. Oh, also, actually, backing up to this guy that I like, the tooth-billed pigeon that doesn't really look like a pigeon, there are also facilities working on captive
He still looks sick.
breeding to maintain genetic diversity and help repopulate this bird in the wild. So we'll link them in the description as well. So you guys.
Yeah, see, like, trying to rebuild wild population is the key thing you want to look for. So, like, some places will literally just, like, breed them in captivity and never have the goal of repopulating the wild population of them. And so, like, yeah.
You can check out these international counterparts of the pigeons that we know and love, and we can help protect them today. And maybe that's the least we can do, right? Maybe that's the least we can do. And then the other thing that is the least that we can do is just look at pigeons a little differently. And I don't want to hear any of y'all call them rats in the sky anymore, okay? I'm freaking over it. I'm done.
Okay, but some people call them affectionately. Like chihuahuas, you know? Like, some people do affectionately call them little rats. Little rat dogs. Some people aren't nice about it, and then other people, it's like a term of endearment.
Be nice to pigeons. Don't piss me off. See you on the next video.
Don't pigeon me off. No, that was a really good, quick, informative. That was a good video. I like her style too. She's really cool. But yeah, no, pigeons. They're fantastic birds. They deserve so much more respect. And, like, I get it. Like, to be in defense, they are still considered pests. Because of, like, the way that everything goes. However, they shouldn't have had to have gotten to the point where they were considered pests. It's like, you know, like, it's similar to, like, with chronic illness, where it's like, you feel like a burden on everybody in your life, but then, like, you technically are, but it's up to you and the people around you to, like, navigate that situation, you know? Because, like, you know, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you have a negative impact on the people that have to care for you, but that doesn't mean that you don't deserve the care. And you don't deserve, like, respect and love. You know? It's the same with pigeons. It's like, are they technically a pest? Yes. Does that mean that they don't deserve, like, love, respect, and, like, admiration? No. They deserve all of that. So it's just like, it's one of those things where, like, being a little bit more realistic about the terms we use is totally fine. And I think that's something we need to, like, do more often, is just, like, be realistic about the words we're using. Because, like, people have put, like, a really negative personal connotation to, like, the words, like, pest and burden and stuff like that. And it's like, pest really just comes down to, like weeds. A weed is not technically a classification of plant. What is considered a weed is actually purely personal opinion. If you don't want a plant growing where it is growing and you want to get rid of it, it is, for all intents and purposes, a weed to you. However, there are people that love daffodils. There are people that want to grow, like, dandelions. Like, they love dandelions, they love daffodils. So, like, it really just depends on, like, how that all goes, you know? But yeah, it's a really cool video. Really appreciate it.